Good morning. I'm Stu, or Chippy Stew, whatever. Um, I've been woodworking for a couple of years now, making, turning for 8 months, and apparently I'm all right here, allegedly. Recently, some friends of mine have suggested that I do YouTube to show how I make some of the stuff that I make. So, after quite a few beers last night, I woke up this morning with a sick head and thought this is the time to go for it, which was daft, but we'll see how it goes. So I've got my coffee and we'll see what happens. The other day I turned this beast that I call Krampus, which is resin and tinsel, and it's like a 10-inch pedestal bowl, ideal for a Christmas centerpiece. And I've had a couple of people suggest that I make something very similar but smaller. Krampus is for sale in my store. I'll link it somewhere. We'll see what happens. So I've got a smaller mould, just face plated a little sycamore blank, and I've got what's left of the tinsel that I made the first one with. So I'm going to turn down the sycamore blank just so it fits that mould a little bit better, and then we'll get some resin poured and go for it. Okay, so we've got it chucked up. Just touched up the edge of my bowl gouge off camera. Basically just going to turn it down to true, flatten the bottom off, and just very roughly shape it slightly because I want the base to sit nicely in the bottom of the mould when I turn it. So face shield on, let's go for it. Going to turn it about 1,000 revs and see what happens. Right, I'm just going to mark out the size of the base with my calipers. Basically I've got that set, I'll put them down, there we go. Got that set into my calipers here. I'm not a million miles off already. I'm just going to pull the curve out slightly from there. I've sharpened one point of my calipers. I'm going to make mark out the size of the base, making sure that only the sharpened point touches, because if both points touch you're in a hell big pile of bother. So we'll mark that out, we'll go from there. Right, before I do anything else, I'm just going to hot glue the blank into the base of the mould. Just stops it floating up when you pour the resin. I've learnt that the hard way, and when it does float it makes me swear a lot, and YouTube won't like that, I'm sure. So I will try my best not to. Keep it as central as you possibly can, and that should be good. Okay, so because I'm an idiot, I forgot to hit record off camera. So off camera, I've attached a waste block to the top of the blank just to save resin, and I've weighed out my resin. I used glass cast 50, as you can see. Never had a problem with it, so if it's not broke, don't fix it for me. It's 1 to 0.45 or 100 to 45 mix by weight, which is the best way to mix it. So that's what I've got there. Works out at about a kilo of resin, I think, is going to go into this. Hopefully it'll be enough, because that was the last of my part B. So fingers crossed, we'll get this mixed up, get it poured, get some tinsel in, and get it in the pressure pot. Right, so that's been mixing for about 3 to 4 minutes, as recommended by the good people of Glasscast. They must know what they're talking about. They make the stuff. So what I'm going to do is pour some in just to form a base, because I don't want all the resin at the bottom of the bowl, which is probably going to get turned away when you try it up and stuff. Then put the tinsel in and then top it up, and like I said before, hope that's enough. Right, so that's in the compressor, 48-hour-ish cure time. So we'll leave that for a couple of days. I've just watched that last clip back and realised my error in that obviously I was dealing with resin. I should have been wearing gloves. I woke up this morning, I've run out of gloves, so I go out this afternoon and buy some. So next time you see me do a video like this, I will have them on. I do normally have them on. But always wear gloves when you're playing with resin. Don't be like me. So I'll see you in a couple of days and we'll see how it turns out. Bye bye. Alright, it's actually 72 hours later now. I had plans yesterday, so I thought there was no point in demoulding it yesterday. Just depressurised the pressure pot, but I haven't looked inside. Let's see what's happened. Doesn't look too bad at the minute. Resin around the edges is actually a bit thicker than I hoped, so we'll just have to see how it turns, but let's get it out of here and have a proper look. And there it is. It's cured up all right. That's a lot of waste on the top there. I think I might actually just try and cut that off so that I can use that blank again basically. And then I will get the faceplate on it to get it on the lathe, and when I put it on the lathe I'll try and put the camera somewhere a bit more sensible than last time, so I'm not actually stood in front of it while I'm showing you guys me turning it. Hello. Bit of creative use of the Gorilla tripod thing there. I should not block the camera as much anymore. So let's get to spinning this and see what happens. I'll be using my trusty bowl gouge, and I've got 2 carbides with Easy Wood Tools negative rake cutters in them. So let's see what we can make. As I'm sure you could tell a mile off there, my skew needs retouching. So I'm probably going to have to do that in a minute, because I ain't getting very far with that today. That's better. Couple of tiny little voids there that I might fill with some CA, but apart from that, it's not bad at all. So I'm back. As I said a minute ago, I went away for an hour or two, came back and ran through the micro mesh from 1500 to 13,000 or whatever the top number is on micro mesh, and it has done the trick. I've no idea what was causing that scratch around that transition, but it's gone now and it's ready to just clean it off with some meths or denatured alcohol if you're American. It will get a coat of cellulose sanding sealer. I use a chestnut one, and then I'll go through the 2 grades of Yorkshire grit and either a resin polish or Hampshire sheen gloss wax, or both. We'll see how it goes. First one. Second one. Happy with that. So I think we will. I think I'll use the resin polish on, certainly on the top half, and then I'll blitz it with a coat, maybe 2 of the Hampshire sheen gloss, high gloss. That's the resin polish I'm using. It's one that I picked it up on a whim from, I believe it was from Glasscast when I bought my resin, but I could be wrong about that. It might have been from someone completely different. But if I do find a link, I'll try and share it, as I will for the products I use and stuff. Yeah, a little bit of ripped paper stuck to that. So I'm just going to polish that away again. Bit of an error on my part. But hey, it's not the first you've seen. It won't be the last. Nearly through that into the extractor pipe, which would have been foolish to say the least. And then finally, probably a couple of coats of the high gloss Hampshire sheen. That could be glass. Could be glass. Thought there was a big scratch in it, then it wasn't. It was the light reflecting on it, but I'm simple. Hey ho. It's going to be really interesting to see how you get this. I get this video down to some sort of usable broadcastable length, because honestly I'm very conscious that while you're not going to see it in the finished product, I'm sure I've got it's hours of footage, and I don't know if that's normal, if I'm honest with you. It certainly explains why most turners will, while they're filming themselves at the lathe, or certainly the ones that I see, will have it the speed multiplied 4 or 5 times, because yeah, I don't think anyone's going to sit and watch me for 2 and a bit hours, or however much footage I'm going to have got by the end of this, bearing in mind I've not even started hollowing yet. I'm waffling again. I wind up like my Nixametti. Very, very good. By the way, channel well worth checking out. Far more talented than I'll ever be, and loves a waffle. And that I'm happy with. I hope you are, because I am. It's an interesting place to put my camera. It seems to be working, and you have to look at my ugly mug. So everyone's a winner, but mostly you lot. So I'm gonna get this spun round, get that faceplate ring off, and get to hollowing. And yes, I know I said I was going to cut this waste block off, but you know what, I'm really flipping lazy. I couldn't be bothered, hence the fact it's still there. Stop it, that's really annoying. It is me. Here, I just give that a spray down earlier, and I still haven't done it. I'll refer you back to my previous comment about being really lazy. But at least I embrace it. I was a bit paranoid doing this because I have had screws where the heads have snapped off, and then you've got to dig them out, and it's a real pain in the butt. Thank you. So how shall I go about it? I think I'll just part that off and then go from that. So, don't worry, I'm being safe again. I'll tell you what, I need some more anti-fog on the inside of this face shield. So I'm getting a bit Tina Turner steamy windows here. Right. I'm embarrassed to say I'm blowing out my backside now. But apparently I wasn't as far as I thought I was. That's that away. You can now come back. Whacking out quite a big way there, but clean that up. slightly reground, not completely, but slightly reground the fingernail grind on this the other day. And the combination between that and this sycamore, it's just a joy to hollow. Anyway, you end up looking daft when you do that. I should point out I've swapped the goggles from the face shield because while it's not ideal, I am perfectly comfortable with what I'm doing. And it's such a therapeutic hollow. Something's going to go wrong. I'm calling it now. Let's get that away from there. Let's not be daft. I'm calling it now. Something is going to go wrong because I'm enjoying this way too much. A bit more light as well. That was more for me than for you, I think, but never mind, eh? I literally keep thinking any second now I'm hitting funnel club or something, because of my bloody pessimist. That's a lovely mess. I love it. Realistically, I certainly don't want to go any thinner than that on wall thickness, because I'm obviously going to lose a little bit more as I neaten it up and smooth it out. But I can take a bit out of meat out of that transition. But not a lot more than that. That's a nice pass there. I mentioned the very, very talented Nick Mitt earlier on, oh, my memory's awful, I believe it's NZ Turning, or it'll get linked, whatever, but it would be really remiss of me not to mention Ken Moon at Moon Pie Creations. The guy's a magician, and it's the only way I can describe it. The things he does with resin and wood are magical. He was my inspiration to starting to turn resin, was to be able to recreate's not the right word, because if I could ever perfectly recreate something of his, then I'd be a lot better than I actually am. But just to produce something along those lines. And on the first turn I did, I was struggling with a bit. Resin hanging off the end of my nose, it looked like snot. But I was struggling with something. So I dropped him a message on Facebook, thinking, he's never replying to this. And he did. And he opened up a dialogue with me, and I talk to him now regularly, and he offers advice, and he checks in on my work, and he's a really bloody nice guy as well. So, if you watch my video and don't check out Moon Pie Creations, then you're some sort of masochist or something, because, you know, if you're watching an idiot do what he does with unbelievable skill. So please check him out. And now I'm not going to blow smoke up his ass anymore, because I don't want people buying his stuff over me. I've got the screw holes. They're full of resin, which is bizarre. No, it's not bizarre at all. Don't be stupid, Stuart. But it's bizarre. And I'm just edge a little bit away out that bottom just to try and get them. But I'm not going to risk the whole thing because of it. No, I'm not going any further. I'll have to show you what I mean in a minute. But basically, the screw holes from the original waste block, sorry, the original blank, have now filled with resin. So there's 6 circles in the bottom of the thing where they are. Because they're filled with resin, they're not a problem. I'd rather get rid of them, but I am loath to go too deep and wind up funneling it, and it's about as deep as I'm comfortably going to go now. So we'll leave it. He says going back, but just smoothing this transition out ever so slightly. You know what? It's for me more than anything else. It's not something, with respect, your general customer would pick up on, but I didn't like it. No nipples in my bowls. You have to stay. You're going to have to stay. But I'll deal with it. Alright, wall thickness. Completely covered in resin. Should have had my dust extraction on, but it would have been literally pointless talking to you while I had that on. Hence the fact I didn't. And I've got about 50,000 more times cleaning up to do. Now, it's also another reason that I don't film my sanding at the moment, because all it will be is the noise of the extractor and me sanding, which isn't that interesting. So that's what I'm going to do now. and I'll be back in a bit. Right, so that's sanded off again now. I went back and I did the micro mesh again just because I like the finish it gave me on that. For those of you who don't know, that's these little things here. They're little abrasive pads, go from 1500 at this end to 15,000 or 13,000. I've got a real mental blank on what the top colour is, but very high grit anyway. And just polishes out any final scratches and things. It's a wet sand on the resin, so it leaves this swarf behind, which is why we then go with the denatured alcohol or methylated spirits or whatever. That's what I'm about to do now, and the sand sealer and the same Yorkshire grits and the same polishes, and rather than you sitting through exactly the same thing as I did 5 minutes ago in the video, I'll run through that and I'll come back to you with hopefully a finished product. So here it is. Son of Krampus, which I like as a name. Am I happy with it? Kinda. Obviously originally it was going to be pretty traditionally shaped bowl. As soon as I got that shape turned, I really wasn't happy with the thick resin at the bottom. That wasn't what I wanted. There would have been sort of no evidence of the wood really from the outside if I'd left it like that, and that's part of the reason that you do it as a hybrid in the first place, which is when it morphed into this kind of pedestal shape. The payoff for doing that is obviously I then couldn't hollow it as deeply as I probably would have done were it a traditional bowl, and you were left with the screw holes from when I originally mounted it up and turned it to shape. However, because of the resin getting poured over it, they're not holes, they're just strange little circles in the bottom of the bowl. It's a gripe of mine, but it's one I can live with because I'm quite happy with it. And also, as you go around the bowl, there's kind of a nice spread, nice amount of resin, nice amount of tinsel, clump of green. That really bugs me. But it's me. That might not bug other people, but it bugs me. So that's Son of Krampus. When two resin bowls love each other very much, sometimes they have a special cuddle and a baby comes along or something. I don't know. Anyway, as I said before, that's me. That's what I do. Love it or hate it. I'm sure plenty of people will criticise the way I go about it, but I'm, like I say, self-taught 8 months into the journey, so see what happens, don't we? That will be on my Etsy store. That will be on my Etsy store. All the other stuff I do goes on my Etsy store. The link to that will be somewhere when I work out how to do it. My Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, and any other social media that my wife, who knows a lot more about nonsense like this than me, says I really should be doing that. I kind of jump on that bandwagon and go for it. So there'll be links to all of those. Don't forget to check out Nick Zametti. Don't forget to check out Ken Moon. And there's countless others, Heath Knuckles and DIY Restoration, I believe the channel's called, and stuff like that. They're all brilliant people, but Nick and Ken were the ones that grabbed me and made me think I need to have a go at this. In terms of other people to look out for, Kent at Turner Wood Bowl. If you're a new turner and you're struggling with traditional tools, I was there not long ago at all. And all I could do was carbides, and as soon as I picked a bowl gouge up, bad things would happen, and I get catches and it'd be crap and it'd be rubbish. And it's purely through watching Kent at Turner Wood Bowl and Colwyn Way on the Axminster channel. And if I remember, I'll link them as well. But as I say, they're just brilliant teachers at how to do these things. I know Kent's got actual e-courses as well that you can do. I haven't done them. Everything I've just learned from watching YouTube. So yeah, that's me. I don't know how regularly I'll post. I have got a day job. I'm not there at the moment for a couple of reasons, but I have got a day job which takes up a lot of time, especially at this time of year. But I think this is the bit where I nag you all and say like and subscribe and share and follow and ring the bell and do all that stuff that you do with the other people. Because I'm probably not going to bombard you with videos, but every now and then something might come up you like, you know what I mean? And come on, what else you got to do right now other than press that button? So have it, and I'll see you soon.